Andrew Wilson is co-founder of Sydney fintech Nudge. When COVID-19 hit, he hatched a plan called Save Australia for his app, Nudge Saver. It helps people change their behaviour and deal with their personal finance. Andrew joins us now in the studio. Great to have you here.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Save Australia, Andrew. This sounds like a rather ambitious thing. What do you mean by that?
Well, one of the things we say at Nudge is we may not save the world, but we'll help the world save, right? So we think that people are too enticed toward debt-based products, and there's a need for more financial resilience. The current conditions show why that's important for people who have recently found themselves out of work. So we're trying to encourage people to do that which they know they should, which is to save more money more often. Now, the problem with saving, of course, is there's an economics concept called the paradox of thrift, is that if everybody moves towards fear and starts saving money rather than spending money, the economy contracts, jobs tend to be lost, and the problem gets deeper and gets worse. So what we're saying is we flatten the curve medically, and now we need to shorten the dip economically, which requires people to spend. The thing for us is most of our users are saving towards relatively short-term savings goals. And a lot of those goals have had to shift because for international travel and things like that, they're no longer able to do it in the next 12 months or so. So to shift that towards Australian-based businesses who need our support. And so we put together the Save Australia message that says, pick an Australian-based goal, save towards it, and then get out there and support the businesses in regional areas, tourist-based businesses, etc., that need it.
So you're not sort of saying, hey, here's a really great art gallery in a regional area that's had the bushfires and maybe you should go and check them out at some stage. You're letting people decide what they want to do and then helping them save towards that goal. Is that how it works?
That's correct. So our app is built around the principle that you tell us what you're saving for. We're not trying to dictate your spending or savings patterns, because there's enough of that out there in general advertising as well. We like to start with you tell us what you want and we'll help you get there. The difference that we've done with the Save Australia goal is we've tapped into existing databases, regional tourism sites and so on, to say, here's some inspiration for you. There are even people that have captured some extra income from JobKeeper, for instance, if they're in a part-time role before, that weren't able to spend it during the lockdown. And so we've got links to regional tourism sites and so on for a bit of inspiration.
And how's it been received? Have you seen an increase in downloads of Nudge Saver since the crisis started?
We have. We launched the app last year and we took a fairly slow run at it. So we only closed our first round at the start of this year. So it was interesting timing for us. Our largest investor was forced to walk away. Our CTO was one of the first cases of coronavirus in Australia.
Oh, wow.
So it's been an interesting journey, but I think it's all pointing towards the need for our product and financial resilience. So we've only just started turning on the marketing for that. We've certainly had a lot of interest in the Save Australia concept. I think it resonates with people. So we saw it after the bushfires. People said, we want to get out there and support these communities, and suddenly you weren't even allowed to go there, let alone tip money into them. And so now we're looking at that as a broader thing for the Australian economy, and the message has certainly resonated.
So it's about not your long term. We're not talking super and all of that sort of thing. We're talking about just your everyday spending and resetting so that it's not instant and then you figure out how to pay it off. It's saving towards whatever it is that you want, and then you help do it. How do you do that?
Okay, so we ask people to tell us what their goal is to determine the time frame for that goal, and so most of them are shorter term, but they range from, we've had, saving up for MacBook parts for $100 all the way through to dream weddings and houses and things like that, right? So we ask people to tell us what their goal is, the time frame that they've got to save towards their goal, any existing savings transfers that they're making, and then we use push prompts via the app to say, hey Chris, you're saving for a Far North Queensland holiday. Do you want to save $17 extra towards your goal now? You accept that prompt and the money is moved from your transaction account into your Nudge Saver account, and it returns for spending.
And what's the most proactive demographic?
So broadly speaking, we are targeting, we're seeing the most response from those who have their first full-time job, because they tend to go through a bit of a learning curve that says, I've got income now, I can buy all these things, and they get to the end of the month and they think, I thought I had income to cover all these things, and the debts are starting to add up. So we're seeing the most between the sort of 23 and 30-year-old demographic, post-university studies generally.
And obviously, do you have a background in behavioural psychology, or what sort of led you down this path? You're an ex-banker who sort of wanted to do good, or?
More on the former side. So I've run a creative agency for the last 15 years, and so I understand the marketing side of it. And so all those tricks and tools that companies use to try and draw people towards spending how the companies choose. We're using to get people to do the things that are best for them.
And what's the next step for Nudge after Save Australia?
Okay, so for us, we are live within the App Store, and we have been since last year, but we'll be live on the Google Play Store within days. So my shirt is a little premature. And that's another COVID effect. So the Google approval used to be 2 days. It's now been pushed out to 7 days. So we'll be live there within a week, and then we'll start more actively marketing. So for us, there was a little bit of test and learn. We were on the funding journey earlier on, and now we're looking for user growth. So, and we'll focus domestically first. But we were recently picked up as part of the New South Wales Treasury's FinTech Immersion program for fast tracking for export into US and UK markets, which are two natural places for us to head.
Thanks for joining us today, Andrew Wilson from Nudge. Great to hear about it, and best of luck with your saving too.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
It's great to be here.
Thanks for coming on.